Guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. In today's video, I want to break down how to go about getting a 75% to an 80% open rate. So what I'm going to do is quickly throw a screenshot up of my actual Lemlist account so you can see that over 1,000, I think it was like 1,700, 1,500 emails or something like that. You'll see it on the screenshot anyway, how many emails I've basically sent and what the actual reply rate was and what the actual open rate was. So I'm going to be talking about how I got statistics like that over 1,000 emails. You see, a lot of people can get an open rate of 80%, 90%, but they're sending like 40 emails. I'm showing you my account basically the archive basically. I'm going to show you what I've put in my archives, and this is even when I'm testing, I'm still getting a 12-ish% reply rate, and I'm still getting an open rate of around 75% around there. So I'm going to show you exactly how I go about doing that. And again, guys, like I said, a lot of people can show you their stats on like a campaign that only had like 40 emails being sent out to it, and they've got like a 90% open rate, but can they do that at scale? The answer is most of the time no. So I want to talk about like your open rate, how important it is, that sort of stuff. So, but guys, before I jump into any of that, all I want you guys to do and all I ask for in return for these videos is basically all you have to do is drop a like, drop a comment, and make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Also follow me on Instagram. With that out of the way, guys, let's talk about your open rate. So guys, here's where your open rate obviously comes from, your subject line. Everybody knows that. Now there's obviously good subject lines and there's bad subject lines. Now bad subject lines are stuff like this. I've seen people use subject lines such as 10x your business here. Like those sorts of subject lines are really they come across as really spammy. Those are not good subject lines. The good subject lines I found to work are very short, very sweet. I found that the best subject lines are just literally like question for you, John, obviously putting the person's first name. So I found that actually personalizing your first lines just by literally putting the person's name in there boosts your open rate. And as you can see, I'm getting around a 75% open rate. Yes, I've had campaigns where I've got like 80% plus open rates, 90% plus open rates, that sort of stuff. But again, they're not at scale. We only care about scale, what we can do in the long run. You see, anybody, like I said, can send 20 emails and get 100% open rate, but can you send 2,000 emails and still get that 100% open rate? Answer is no. Now we're actually trying to look for good open rates. Now again, what I recommend you do is anything classed below a 70% open rate, I want you to class that as a failure. So this is kind of like my stats now, the metrics that I look for. Anything below a 70% open rate, do not class that as a success, class it as a failure. And the way how you go about testing this, guys, is you want to take, for example, 100 leads. So this is how I go about doing this. And I'll break down like what a good subject line is versus a bad subject line, that sort of stuff. So what you want to do to test this, guys, is you want to take 100 leads, right? That 100 leads is going to get the exact same message sequence. So all of the messages in the sequence are going to be the exact same. The only thing that's going to differ is that you're going to take the 100 businesses that you're about to send 100 emails to, and you're going to break them down and actually kind of like group them into 20 businesses per group. So there's going to be 5 groups of 20 businesses that you're going to email. So I guess group 1, which has got 20 businesses in there, is going to get email subject line 1. They're going to get subject line 1, but all, again, like I said, you're going to break these 100 emails down into 5 groups. That's 20 each. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So now you're going to send 100 emails, right? You're going to send the exact same body copy with the same sequence to all of these emails. The only thing that changes in between 1 to 5, the groups 1 to 5, is that, you know, you're going to change the subject line. And that's how you go about finding your subject line. Now, this is how you go about testing it. And now what you want to test, guys, is a couple of subject lines. So what I recommend you do is literally just go write down 5 subject lines or put them in like an Excel sheet. I kind of use Excel sheets. And this is kind of like how I teach all the people inside of agency transmutation on how to actually go about, you know, split testing their emails. And this is the sort of stuff that we talk about and whatnot in the program. But yeah, all you got to do, guys, is break down an Excel sheet or go to Google Sheets. Write down 5 different subject lines that you want to test. What I recommend you do, guys, as well, is when you're writing your subject lines, don't have them all capital case. This is one of these insider tricks that you guys might not know about. It's getting quite popular now because people are actually seeing this. But you see, when you see a subject line that has all capitals, for example, I'm just going to give you a random email, like a random subject line. This is obviously not good. Montel, read this email. If all of those are capitals, Montel is spelled with, you know, capital M. Obviously, that a person's name, you always want to spell that with a capital, you know, first letter. But if it says like this with a capital T, and then read, you know, R, capital R, capital T, and then capital E, like read this email, all in capitals, I don't read those emails. Those are normally sales emails. So right from the beginning, guys, you can see what's a sales email from what's not a sales email. And again, you don't want your emails or your email subject lines to come across as salesy. And using what you call, I believe it's actually called capital case or case capping. I forgot what it's actually called, the actual word for it. I'm pretty sure someone will correct me in the description box below. But basically what you do, I think it's like capital casing, something like that. But basically basically what you don't want to do, guys, is put a capital at each word. On each first letter of the word. So the first letter that comes obviously don't scream as well, have it all capitals. That does not work. I've tried that one. And don't use like clickbaity titles that are kind of just like lying to people as well. Yeah, you don't want to do that. For example, I've seen where people use the like re thing, you know, it says like RE colon, so it looks like you've actually had a conversation with that person before. Don't do that. It comes across very spammy. Don't use email subject lines such as like 0 to 10k in 2 months. Don't use like subject lines like that. I basically just use, you know, hi John, quick question. Those sorts of subject lines. And again, I don't capitalize the actual emails unless I don't capitalize each individual letters unless it's the actual person's name. So that's how I go about, I guess, coming up with subject lines. I like to use them personalized, such as like question about company or quick question for you, John, those sorts of things. I actually even sometimes like to use little emojis in there if it's applicable, if it's actually applicable. So if I'm talking to like food brands or clothing brands, I'd put like a little clothing emoji in there sometimes, just in case, you know, well, I've actually tested this. It actually works quite well. I didn't really stay with it. I just found my subject line that got me like a 70 to 80% open rate. Like most of the time it was like 75%, and I just literally stuck to that. Again, you only need to do this test most of the time like one time, and you found that one subject line. So this is one of the easiest steps to actually go about finding a subject line. Now let me also break down this, guys. Before we even get to the subject line, I probably should have mentioned this. You need to make sure that your email health is on point before you even do this. And I know I should have said this probably first, so forgive me for doing that, but guys, you need to make sure that your email health is set up first. And what I mean by that is you need to set up your DKIM records, your SPF records, and your DMARC records. You must set those up as well. If you're using something like Lemlist, if you don't know how to use Lemlist, go to one of my previous videos before this and actually go and watch a tutorial on Lemlist. I break down exactly what Lemlist is and all of that. Again, this is all broken down in agency transportation as well. So if you're in the program, you don't even need to watch these videos. But anyway, long story short, guys, if you're using Lemlist, you need to make sure that you've got your custom tracking domain set up first. Then you also want to warm up your emails as well. This is absolutely crucial, guys. Very, very crucial. I don't want this to go over your heads and just be like, oh yeah, this is one of those things that sounds cool. Setting up records sounds complicated. I'll just skip it this time. Yeah, you can't actually do that, guys. You just can't skip this. You must do this. You want to make sure that your deliverability is on point. There's no point even worrying. I repeat, there is no point even worrying about your email open rate unless your deliverability is on point. Because what's the point in even worrying about that if your emails aren't even going to get delivered anyway? Now, deliverability comes from a couple of factors. For example, don't use links in your emails. Don't use images in your emails. Don't have spammy, like go-to spammy words such as like increase your sales and that sort of stuff, like guaranteed sales and stuff. Just words that are very salesy or spammy. Stay away from those. You can actually even Google. And the thing I like to use is, I believe it's called Mail Tester. You can actually take your scripts, right, and you can put them into this app called Mail Tester. Just Google Mail Tester, then go to Mail Tester, and it'll actually show you how you test your actual body copy and stuff like that. You put it in there and it will test how, like, it gives you like a spamminess score, and you can actually test the spamminess of your email, if you will. So don't want to obviously flag up as spam. You want to make sure that your email's warm as well. I recommend using Lemwarm, guys. So I use Lemlist to send out all of my emails. Again, Lemlist is a automation tool, my favorite one. I'm not affiliated. I don't have affiliate link. Unfortunately, they need to hook me up with one of those. So I'm pretty sure I put a whole bunch of people on Lemlist way before. In fact, you can actually verify this. Go on my channel. I was putting people on Lemlist way before they even knew about Lemlist. They were still sending out manual emails. Now everybody's using friggin' Lemlist and whatnot. So in fact, I've been using Lemlist for so long. I still have the original plan that's costing me like £25. I think that's like $30, $35, something like that. Because I still have the original plan. That's how long I've been on Lemlist for. You can't even get that plan anymore. It doesn't even exist anymore because it was like one of the first plans. But anyway, been using Lemlist since you guys were in nappies, if you will, since these gurus were in nappies anyway. So anyway, guys, look, what you want to do is, again, split test your emails. You want to come up with subject lines. You want to split test them in groups. So what I like to do is, I have, like I said, 100 leads. I go and grab 100 leads. I personalize all the lines. Well, I get my lead sources to do this. Again, this is something I teach in agency transportation. I personalize all these lines. I then send out batches of 20 emails. So I set up a campaign, and the campaign would be email subject line 1. Then that would have 20 leads in there out of the 100. Then I have 80 businesses left. So what I do is I create another campaign. This is email subject line 2. Then I put another 20 leads in. Obviously, these are different leads. They're still the same 100 leads I've got in the list, but I just chunk them in 20 different bits, if you will, and then take the 20 out and put them all into their individual campaigns with the different subject lines, even though all of them are getting the same copy. All 100 businesses across all of these campaigns are getting the same body copy and the same sequence, same times, same schedule. Everything's the same except for the subject line that changes. And this is how you actually test scientifically. This is the scientific approach that I talk about all the time at agency transportation. That is literally what transportation is all about. So that's how you go about finding your subject, you're going and grabbing your subject line. You want to make sure your deliverability is down pat as well. Like I said, there's multiple things that can affect this. If you're sending images in there, if you have one of those, spammy ass looking, email signatures that has like your LinkedIn page, your Instagram page to your, don't do that. You don't want those links. You don't want one of those, those email subject lines that has like that picture as well of like your company logo. You don't want one of those. You do not want one of those. I repeat, those are a couple of factors in there as well in terms of your subject line as well. So again, don't even worry about your subject line if you haven't got your deliverability down, but I'm pretty sure you've already got that down because you've watched all my videos. Get your DMARC down, get your DKIM record set up and your SPF record if you haven't got if you didn't buy your email on Google. You should have it already set up if you bought your domain on Google. Anyway, so that's kind of like where your deliverability kind of comes from. Once that's done, you can actually test your email and stuff like that in terms of going to Mail Tester, testing out your actual body copy and your actual subject lines, and you can actually put that into Mail Tester and it will actually test for the spaminess score. Now, another thing that I haven't mentioned yet is your actual first snippet, your first lines of your emails also can help you boost your open rate and your reply rate, by the way. We're talking about open rates right now. And what I mean by this, guys, is, like when you get sent a DM on Instagram and you can kind of just see a little snippet of the message. Well, it's the same with emails. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this where you get an email and you can kind of see the first kind of like couple of characters, like that first 20 characters or whatever it is. And that's kind of like called above the billfold, if you will. I believe that's what the old copywriters used to call it. But basically, when you get sent an email, you can kind of see in your inbox, you can see the subject line, of course. The subject line, again, needs to be short, punchy, personalized. That's what I found that works best. Short, punchy, personalized, doesn't look like a spammy email. And sometimes I found that even putting a spelling mistake in the actual subject line as well, like just spelling one word by one letter off or something like that actually helps. I don't use like quotation marks or punctuation marks or periods or anything like that in my actual, so the grammar's slightly actually purposefully bad, as in like I don't put a period at the end, I don't put an exclamation mark at the end, that sort of stuff. I literally just leave it as like question for you, John, and question is spelt with a lowercase q. U is obviously spelled with a lowercase u, 4 is obviously spelled with a lowercase f, and then obviously John is spelled with obviously his proper name. There's no punctuation mark or anything like that after that. So it looks like it's a email from somebody who's his friend. So yeah, you can even use people's nicknames as well. For example, if somebody's called Benjamin, you can call them Ben, for example. That right there actually is already kind of like assuming familiarity with a person. It almost sounds like you're his friend to be using his nickname like that. So there's a good little tip for you as well. Now guys, quick question, I found that it might be a little bit overused at this point. So you can try the quick question out if you want to, because I know that's probably one of the first ones you try out. That's one of the first ones I tried out. And so yeah, it might be a little bit overplayed, but you can obviously go and check that. There's creative ways to go around this. And again, get leads, divide them up into 20, come up with 5 subject lines, test them. Go and test that really quickly. And again, if you got first line right, it's obviously much easier to do this. Now, let's talk about your actual billfold. I call it the billfold, being over the billfold. I think that's what the actual old copywriters, like I said, actually call this. Now, what I mean by that is your first couple of lines in your email are visible to people who haven't even opened your email. So like if you go to your inbox right now, your Gmail inbox, for example, or your G Suite email or whatever you want to call it, and you open it up, and you see the emails in there. Obviously you see the sender name, you'll also see the actual subject line, and then of course you will just see like a little snippet of the actual email. What I do in that is I don't use the words I, as in I don't say, hey John, I just came across this thing. I just literally put, hey John, just came across your, and that's the words as well I use. Just came across your is the thing that's going to be seen. That automatically sparks interest. And again, this is like my personalized first line. And I tell my personalized first line writer to write very straight to the point, concise, personalized first lines that get straight to the point. I don't use the word I at the front as well. So for example, if I say, hey John, just came across your interview, it would just be like that. Instead of saying, hey John, I just came across your interview. It's one of those words that people don't want to see in an email. I this, I that. It talks about you too much. So what I do is I talk about them straight away. So I say, just came across your so-and-so. So the just came across yours basically is like you just came across my what? And if it kind of like blocks off there, they'll be very interested into seeing what we had to say about the interview. If it does show, just came across your interview with, for example, they'll be like, okay, what interview are they talking about? Which interview? That's where the open rate actually can help. This is kind of like where your personalized lines can actually help your open rate. So guys, this has just been a short video. I hope that you can take some tips away from this. I really wanted to keep this one short. I know that this has gone on for like 15, 16 minutes or whatever it is after editing. But again, guys, this is where I'm getting my 75% open rate from, and I'm getting like a 12 12 and almost 12.5% reply rate as well, guys. So as you can see, and this is over thousands, well, almost 2,000 emails I've sent. You can see, well, I've actually sent more than this because I've actually got some campaigns up and running that have not been archived. But this is just from my like archived emails, which it's actually funny because like even just those archives, I've got email subject lines in them that are really crappy that I was just testing. So my actual open rate should actually be a little bit more than this if I take my actual campaigns now that I've found an actual subject line. Because again, remember, I did all these tests. I tried all the other subject lines. Some of them were terrible and got me a really low open rate. So that's even factored into all of these sent emails that I basically just shown you, and I'm still getting a 75. It's still coming out to 75%-ish, slightly over that open rate. And as you can see, that's really, really good. Over thousands of emails. Show me, again, like I said, yes, people out there might have an open rate of like 90% on like 100 emails sent, but I'm talking about literally 1,000 emails plus here. I think it's like 1,700. I believe that's a screenshot that I actually showed you. I'm just looked at it. I already remembered it. I've got like a memory of a goldfish, but you guys have already seen it on the screen anyway. But guys, again, go out there, start testing your subject lines. Make sure you optimize that first, and make sure you obviously your email health is good. Warm up your domains. Make sure that your sender's reputation is good. Use mail tester to actually test out your mail as well. And guys, if you need any help with cold emails, please let me know. We do have one-to-one spots, which are different from agency transmutation. Just real quick, one-to-one coaching spots is different from agency transmutation. Agency transmutation is an online program where you can take it yourself, and that's the benefit of that. Much more refined, much more in depth, because I can spend way more time on a single point. Whereas there's also one-to-one coaching that I do offer, which is obviously much more expensive because it's much more of a time commitment to me, but it's also much more tailored to you. You actually get to talk to me one-to-one. It's not anybody else. It's just me and you going at it, if you will, learning and teaching you all about your business and actually scaling your business. It's a done with you program, the one-to-one stuff. So that being said, guys, I hope that you're interested. And if you want to learn more about how you can get help from me, we've got agency transmutation open, and we've also got one-to-one spots at the time of actually recording this. Yes, we have one or two spots actually open. I do have 2 calls on Monday for actually these particular spots. It's Saturday right now, so if you're watching this after Monday, they might already have gone. So I definitely would jump in if you're interested in that. Just send me a DM on Instagram or click on the link below. It will say, you know, I'll identify which links you need to pick. You just go read the description and you'll see the links. Anyway, guys, I hope that you're doing well, and I hope that you guys are staying safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video pretty soon. Peace.